we are ready to go, guys. Sorry about that. It's probably all Riot's fault.
Thanks a lot, Rido.
Alright, so it looks like we are good. As long as everyone can hear me and they can hear Scotch, we are going to go. So as soon as I hear that you guys can hear me.
There you go.
Lovely, lovely Twitch chat.
Alright, so just to fill you guys in on what you have missed so far, not a whole lot, no kills as we're just about 7 minutes into this game, but a growing gold lead for the SS Boosted Friendship, mostly coming on the back of Thor and some in the mid lane. He's currently 23 CS up on Cruise Master, which is pretty substantial this early in the game. And there are also minor leads for On the Wind and Avalite as well.
Flash was burned off a gank by the Rek'Sai Dub Drum on Cruise Master, the Malzahar mid, and a TP was burned at top, with Poppy forcing him back, I believe with the help of Rek'Sai as well. So Dub Drum, or Xiao Wei Xiao, I believe, is putting in work once again this week.
Yeah, and Dub Drum really had a great early game last week. His ganks were just on points. I mean, he got something basically every time he showed up in a lane. So, looks like he is continuing that hot streak that he had. And there should hopefully only be about another minute of pause here, guys. I just remembered as of when I got the stream going and I messaged Master Splitter to start this, there'd be a 3-minute delay before we actually see this begin. So I hope it's been unpaused pretty quickly in real time after when I initially messaged.
Hopefully.
So looking at some of these builds maybe while we have a chance, another big thing to note is that on the first back for Cruise Master, he was only able to get the components of the catalyst, not the entire item. That's a pretty big disadvantage if you're a catalyst character.
Yeah, you're just delaying your power spike even longer, and you can't. Plus, you don't even have the catalyst, so you can't sit and sustain. You're just gonna probably get bullied out again.
And you know you're in kind of an awkward point where you want him back and get that catalyst, but at some point it's just going to kind of screw you over. So Thor really taking over this game early. And now, I'm no jungle expert, but I see that Dub Drum got the Boots of Mobility, the Boots of Swiftness on his first back. Is that kind of a thing?
I don't think so, but it could just be something that, like, we've seen Dub Drum running around to all these lanes. He just might want those to help, because he's spending so much time in transit. Versus Splinter, who I think has been most of the time just kind of clearing his jungle and sitting and waiting somewhere. Although, because of all the pausing and stuff, I've lost track of what's going on per se with the junglers. But it looks like they're pretty close in farm, but I feel like Dub Drum's winning the early game through some very unique gank paths in mid, and oh, we're back. All right, and immediately a scuffle in top lane.
And yeah, a lot of damage.
the
I'm just
throwdown.
Dan. And I'm just Dan's actually gonna aggressively turn all Mess Splitter comes in, but what was he hoping to do there? Are they just looking to trade kills?
I mean, they got an assist on it too, so does that equal out? I'm not sure.
He could have just waited, like,
Yeah, he could have.
Master Splitter probably could have got that. So, but a trade of kills, both kills going to the top laner, but the assist gold advantage going over to Master Splinter.
It is first blood versus a kill and assist, so I don't know how the math works out on that one.
Yeah, the bigger thing is that Master Splinter didn't bounce that wave off the turn. I don't know if he was scared of Dub Drum potentially showing up or what, but that means that On the Wind is going to be able to go to this top lane and get a decent EXP advantage out of this whole Spandakel. Looking at the items that come out of top lane out of this, it is going to be a Sheen out of On the Wind, which is a nice little power spike for Poppy, so I assume we're going to see On the Wind continue to play aggressively for a bit here. Meanwhile, the bot lane sitting on over 2k apiece and no sign of a recall.
They are just throwing down.
Oh, Thor Odin's on max range ult with no moves. Thor's gonna go for a flash. He's gonna ult, and he's gonna not be able to Shurima shuffle away. A kill to Cruise Mask there after kind of failing on his combo there.
Yeah, I really don't like that flash. I mean, I feel like that was... You got over the wall. What are you doing flashing at that point?
Yeah, I agree. But looks like we might see more action. No, he's gonna be disengaged.
I mean, the nice thing about Malzahar is his base damage is really good, especially against squishies.
Yeah, a lot of people are very surprised by Malzahar. Even if he doesn't get the entire combo off, really can burst down an enemy champion.
Melts.
And Master Splinter gonna go full Master Splinter here. Even though Cruise Master gets the second kill for his team, Master Splinter taking that second blue buff. Malzahar definitely a champion that can utilize blue as well.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. Malzahar with blue. Oh, and Zhao's in top lane again.
And yeah, nice stun onto the wall. I'm just Dan gonna take a lot of damage. He's gonna maybe consider ulting defensively, but a nice ult knock about a dub drop. Or sorry, out of On the Wind. Forces the flash out of just Dan. And Master Splinter was there for the counter gank if a tower dive was attempted, so good call from Boost not to follow through on that one. That's a big flash that goes down. There's now a lot of kill pressure in that top lane if they want to go for it.
Yeah, I think I would have liked initially when he saw Dubdrum coming in, attempt the run out, because at the beginning you can turn fairly significantly compared to once you get your speed going. But opts to try to just walk it out, and they force the flash, so just barely managed to get out of that. That would have been disastrous if he'd blown the flash, and that Rek'Sai damage killed him.
So looking at a max
nice
range hook, and Respect follows it in. There's the everything, and King has to flash out. He is taking a lot of damage. But Respect actually takes a lot of the return. There's an ace in the hole. Everlight's going to block now. Both members of the boosted bot lane are chunked. And Dubdrum is here for a counter king. King has no flash. And a flash double knock about a Dubdrum. Everlight putting down a lot of damage around. Here's Master Splinter. Barely whips the ult. And somehow that is going to be disengaged.
Joe was the MVP of that fight. They caught King out horribly. And Joe said, hold on, timeout. We're going to wait for the Thresh box to wear off. We're going to wait for the exhaust to wear off. Okay, now we're ready to fight again.
Yeah, well played out of Albino Joe. And not super coordinated out of Respect and Everlight. Everlight was standing a little bit too far back at the start of that engagement. And what could have been a pretty big play ends up just kind of being a trade of summoner spells.
Yeah, that was about as good of Bard mechanics as you can hope for. In that kind of Twitch reaction situation there. I feel like a lot of Bards would have just ulted the Thresh and the Caitlyn, and that wouldn't have gotten as much done as what just happened.
But now Dubdrum coming back in the bot lane. He's going to get the knockup on King. King, no summoners to escape. Dubdrum picks up a kill. And geez, Dubdrum just been all over in these fights. Even if it's only turned into one kill, it feels like Dubdrum has exerted so much pressure onto this map so far.
I mean, there is something to be said. If you're getting the enemy flash, then that's they can't be as aggressive against you either. And oh my god.
But now Albino Joe being tower dove and a nice teleport coming out of I'm Just Dan. That should deter this dive. And Master Splinter is close as well. I'm Just Dan ulting and he gets the stop onto Dubdrum, who's going to take the lantern out, but be interrupted partway through. Now a 3-man knockabout on the win. Albino Joe the first to go down. Master Splinter is going to get an ult to try to stop this, but I'm Just Dan hooked in a second kill for Everlight this time, as everyone shows up to the Clown Fiesta. 2 kills for Boost.
is a shame. I feel like Boy Butter is becoming just a bunch of bad luck Bryans. They played their asses off in that fight, and they just got the raw end of the stick.
Yeah, it ultimately comes down to every single member of the SS Boosted Friendship was able to make it there, and the Deadka King couldn't join that fight. And sometimes being 5v4 is all it takes to win a fight. And this now turning into a 2,000 gold lead for Boost.
Look at that farm in mid lane. Holy crap. Thor beat him to that fight, and he's just increasing that gold lead even more.
Yeah, it's really looking week in and week out like Cruise Master is just a bit outclassed in this mid lane. So, gonna take a look at where all of the gold is sitting in this game. 1,000 gold lead on the win. I did not realize it had gotten to be that big up in the top lane. That is a bigger gold lead in the top lane than it is in mid, where it's only about 500. And then also,
I think a lot of that stemmed from Dan getting down to bot lane so much faster than Wind, and Wind was able to pick up one of those kills. And
but
get the
both
farm
junglers
top
showing up in this top lane. I'm just Dan getting chain CC'd. He's taken low, but Cruise Master here well before Thor Odin's son. Master Splinter forces a flash out of on the way. He misses the ult, and Dub Drum's very low. Cruise Master does a flash
Very
ultimate.
nice.
The Nethergrass secures a kill for
And he got
Master
another
Splinter.
one.
And now Dub Drum.
Man.
Oh, don't know exactly what he was going for, but a double kill for Master Splinter. And now in the bot lane, a nice Albino Joe going to stop Evelite, but and yes, the culling not going to be enough.
Swift, do you still have gold on?
No, I took it off.
Chat complaints. Okay. All right, Master Splinter once again needs that blue.
Yeah, it's not like there's a Malzahar that wants to spam all his spells in wave clear. And you know, that was the first time that Cruise Master got to a fight before Thor. But that should typically be something the Malzahar should be able to do every time, because with blue buff, you could so easily force the enemy mid lane to stay under their tower. But Cruise Master, not been that fortunate.
Joe, once again, stuffing these initiations from Respect. Just every single time he goes all in for this hook box combo. Exhaust. Joe just ults and says, nah, we're fine.
So gold lead shrunk a little bit in the past few minutes, down to about 1,400 in favor of Boost. Still no towers, still no dragons. That's really the story of this game, is that they haven't turned any of these positive moments into objectives.
Yeah, who wins in a straight up 5v5 dragon fight at this point, do you think?
I don't think either team has a massive advantage. I think there's a lot of outplay potential in both directions.
Looks like Wind's going to get a lot of damage off on this top turret before Dan can get back. He might. Will he take that? No, I don't think he can.
No, he won't be able to take that, but just continuing to build a nice lead. He's not sitting on much gold, so it's not like he needs to back yet or anything.
And let's see, it's 50 farm. It seems like every 3 minutes, Thor's up 10 more farm on Cruz. He really needs some help in this mid lane where he's... Oh,
now over the wall on the win with no MR, going to be nearly killed by Cruise Master. I'm just Dan coming down from the top lane. He's going to hope to join this fight. Now Albino Joe actually getting caught out. Albino Joe going to get a 3-man ult just to slow things down, but I don't know who can get here fast enough to save him. And he's going to scare the enemy team out of chasing him with the magical journey. And jeez, Thor doing so much damage. These mid laners just going on to no MR opponents. They'll light you up.
Oh, yeah.
So, while we maybe have a chance to go over some of these builds, I want to talk about I'm Just Dan rushing the Frozen Heart really fast. That is such a huge team player item. out of him. Obviously, there's probably no mid laner in the game that's more efficient against than Azir. So he is definitely building to be in and around these team fights. But not going to make his laning phase the easiest. He's about to take a lot of pressure from on the wind here. A nice ult to knock up. I'm just Dan running, and he flashes at the last minute to get away from the Poppy Q.
Yeah, I think some of that is just from, like you said, rushing that Frozen Heart. Normally, I'd see like a Sunfire, so you can just kind of sit and trade Sunfire capes with the other person in an extended fight, but because all he has is a Frozen Heart, he's just eventually losing these scuffles.
Yeah, and that might have been a better call as the second or even third item in his build, because I do agree it's also going to make it just easy for him to get chunked out before these fights without the extra health. So we'll see how Dan plays around that.
Let's see, and Splinter opting to farm up here. He's up about 20 farm and a kill on Dub Drum, but it looks like Dub Drum's team is just exuding way more pressure because of what Dub Drum was able to do here in the early game.
Oh, Albino Joe getting lit up, but there must not be a kill because directed camera is not keeping us down there. Nash the Splinter was in the neighborhood to deter that. And we are late enough into this game for Riptail to return to the Void, and still no towers taken. That's really kind of feeling like the story of the SBL this season, just these incredibly long laning phases.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised more teams aren't going for that Drift Herald or early Dragon when...
Oh, but a flash knockup out of Dub Drum here. I'm just Dan trying to buy time, but it does not look to be enough. But actually it... Oh, the snipe out of Zhao Wei Zhao. Come back to NA, man.
60 no scopes. Oh, man. That was so rude. Just walked away, and Dan, just for a millisecond, thought, oh man, they misplayed this. I'm going to get to walk out for... Never mind.
And a great series of plays across the map here for Boosted Friendship as they take their first 2 turrets of the game and are now going to be in a really good position to collapse onto this mid lane. But Dub Drum maybe caught out a little deep here. On the win, looking to try to help with something. He's charging up the ult, but a nice ult out of Master Splinter going to stop everything. Cruise Master with a kill onto Dub Drum.
They read that beautifully. Splinter was just sitting there waiting for Dub Drum to go waltz through his jungle. And is this the first donation? Did the Cruise please don't let me fall farther behind in mid lane fun?
Yeah, even though Cruise is 202 to Thor's 010, Thor Odinson is up 1,000 gold on Cruise Master currently because CS matters a lot.
And on that back, it looks like he opted for the Needless versus finishing off that. I think he could have finished off the Nashers. I'm not 100%, but I don't see a whole lot of Azir, so I'm not sure what they really like in the early game.
Yeah. There's a lot of options to go with. But breaking down on these 80 carries, Evelite has completed his Essence Reaver and Rapid Fire Cannon. And he is posturing around this mid lane, which once you take the other 2 outer towers is the obvious place to go. Just a really good point in time for him to be where he's at with his build, because him and Thor Odinson should be able to get a lot of damage onto this mid lane tier 1 tower, which they took when I was not paying attention. It's down. They have all 3 of the outer towers.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because there were portraits over it, but...
Well, that's still a pretty strong point of the game for Lucian regardless of what they're sieging tier 1 or tier 2.
What Boost is doing right now, I really don't get. I don't know what if they're just going for a jog through the jungle, or what, but...
They're not really playing around their vision at all. Look at all the wards that Boosted Friendship has in Boy Butter's blue side, but the only player on that half of the map is on the winds, taking a defensive position back towards his top lane.
I just don't like they had 50 seconds for Dragon, and instead of like picking up a camp or keep the economy going, they just decided like, oh, let's go wander around their jungle and see if somebody will loiter for us to pick up after we clear this pink ward. Like, I don't get that at all.
Yeah, and Boy Butter's now in a position where they have really good vision for this dragon fight in their jungle. At least they have good vision that'll stop Boosted from utilizing their lead, hopefully. But it's looking like this is going to just turn into a straight fight here. On the Wind has his teleport available, so look out for that, as this dragon has been started by Boy Butter. I'm just Dan trying to zone, but he takes good damage. And now Flash Play of Resquek going to start this fight. Now a 3-man knockup on the Wind, going to be late to this fight as Resquek is down. Oh my god, kills left and right. A double kill onto I'm Just Dan as Boy Butter are running for their buttery lives. 4 kills as King runs off into the night. And that is a 2 for 5 in the blink of an eye for Boosted Friendship. Their only casualties being their tank line. And that was just an awesome engage out of Resquek. And now we see Boosted Friendship in a great position to just shove down whichever towers they're near. They're going to get a lot of damage onto this bot tower in addition to bouncing a wave in the mid lane. And that's going to be a tower in the bot lane. And just looking like a really good game out of Boosted Friendship.
Oh, Cruz got the ult onto Evilite in that fight and was able to, I think, almost full channel it. And I was trying to figure out how, in God's green earth, he did not kill Evilite. And it looks like he just didn't get the Ignite on him with the rest of his spell suite. Which is unfortunate, because that could have turned the tide of that fight completely the other direction. But yeah, kudos to Boosted doing no fear flash boxes onto Dragon. Just knowing, hey guys, Thor's a million CS up. Let's just fight.
Yeah, that was a fight that really showcases what, to me, was always the one key rule of team fighting in League of Legends. Some people are so concerned about back lines and front lines and flanks and power spikes. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, if you're the team that can hit more champions with more of your abilities, you're going to win a team fight. And that's what Boosted Friendship did there. I couldn't even call it all out. It was just every single move was hitting 3 or 4 people. And Boy Butter, I can believe it's Butter because they melted.
Oh yeah. Thor is really big here. Dilmot, he's picking up everything at the store except finishing that Nashers. That's kind of interesting to me. I feel like just in general on a spellcaster, you want cooldown above damn near everything else.
Yeah, I didn't bring any of our resident mid laners in today, so I'm not going to comment too much on it, but Wait, which item were you talking about?
The Stinger and the Nashers.
He has Nashor's Tooth, dude.
Oh, he does?
That's Nashor's Tooth.
I'm bad.
See, guys, we don't play mid lane. I thought that was a Stinger this whole time, too. But what I don't think is King flashing out of this fight like a bitch. Now on the Wind, putting down so much tank pressure. Master Splinter has to flash as well, and Resquek flays in a nice 3-man play. Master Splinter, though, with a big ult to slow this fight down. On the Wind, probably going to die. Thor has to ult defensively as Azir, and I'm Just Dan as a zombie trying to run in and maybe turn this fight around, but it's going to be a 1-for-1 somehow as Albino Joe barely makes it out, and Boosted Friendship's in the position to siege again.
That was a great turnaround into a turnaround off of the Thresh and the Sejuani, but I really didn't like Dan went down in the middle of that fight and he popped up and he was ready to go and take like 3 people with him, and they just didn't commit.
Oh,
I mean, I know they were low, but everybody was low.
Just kidding, false alarm. The King is fine. Yeah, that last fight, that just really showed how big this gold lead is. We're over 8,000 gold for Boosted at this point. And that fight did look really good for Boy Butter. But eventually there's a point where 8,000 gold matters more than what you're doing in the fight. So while we maybe have a down-tempo moment here, I want to talk about Kaking's build because he just finished his second core item, the Runon's Hurricane, and this is kind of a new build that's sweeping AD carry. Specific AD carries, going for an Infinity Edge into Runon's builds, and it's been very effective. Caitlyn, this has been very common on. Jinx, this has been very common on. There were no changes super recently to the Runon's Hurricane, and I'm not actually entirely sure what caused people to realize this item was so good, but this is not a gimmick build or King being bad. This actually is a thing. You'll see it on Champion GG. You'll see it all over pro builds on the champions it's being used on. And when it works, it's really just disgusting how much damage gets put out.
I mean, I like it. You got Respect on the Thresh, Dub Drum on the Rek'Sai, and On the Wind on the Poppy. Once they're into the fight, they're kind of sitting ducks, so you have plenty of things to be hitting in that front line.
Absolutely, and this is, I was just going to say, the exact type of team that the Runons is going to be most effective against. So, other than the fact that King is, oh my god, 2,500 gold behind Evelite, it's a good item.
Yeah, I think all of this is stemming from Splinter needs to bait Boosted into a fight, and they just need to go get a tower anywhere. It's 5 towers to none right now. Like, all of this gold is sitting on the map. You guys need to whittle one of these turrets down.
Yeah,
but it looks like
there was some really nice split push pressure coming out of Boost there. You saw there was a nice 5-man, death ball going down the mid lane for Boy Butter. But even if they took that fight, they were going to just lose everything in the side lane, so they couldn't. And that's going to turn into a 3rd dragon of the game for them. And they might try to rush towards this Baron. Now, Boosted will not see this. There are no wards. This could be the play that Boy Butter needs.
There is a ward in the Baron pit.
Oh, I didn't see the one in the pit. They would have made it to the pit, but...
I mean, in that scenario, I would have just sent 2 people running top to pick up that tower. Or so, you need economy somewhere.
Yeah, they just don't seem entirely sure where to force a way back into this game.
So, what has Boosted got to do here to win this game? And what does Boy Butter got to do? Like, does Boy Butter outscale? Can they stall this out and hope to win?
No, I don't think so. Not in the sense of can they outscale to become stronger in late game. But that might not matter because we have Baron Nash side hit here. King was just shown in the bot lane, so there's no way he can get to this fight in time. I think we might see a 4 versus 5 out of Boy Butter, who don't want this game to be over yet. But on the win with some nice zoning, it's going to be secured by Boosted, and they're going to try to pick this fight up. A lot of damage going in both directions, but the damage in the favor of the Boosted Friendship, I think? No, actually, it is not. This is looking like a good fight for Boy Butter. And they catch Thor, the most important member of Boosted, down. That is everyone but Dub Drum down and everyone but Cruise Master down. A really awkward fight there. But the game gonna get stalled out a bit, at least, by Boy Butter.
That was kudos to Thor for knowing he was gonna die. And he went in and he took, I don't know if he took 2 or 3 with him. He cleaned up all the low health bars. And just sent him to the grave with him. And I really like that out of carries, just realizing like there's no point to try and run. They're gonna chase me down. I might as well try and take as many with me as I can.
Yeah, Thor has been excellent this game.
And he's up a full almost 100 on his contemporary cruise. And
that's a 3,000 gold lead
cares.
for Thor.
Yeah. 80 carries are pretty close in farm, but once again, like the towers are playing a huge factor in this game.
Yeah, 10,000 gold lead can go to a lot of different places. So going back to the who outscales question, I think these late games are pretty close. I think maybe slightly in favor of the Boosted Friendship. So if Boy Butter... Oh, it doesn't matter because King flash flayed on. He has to flay out himself. And now we see a flank coming. A 3-man ult on a Master Splinter. But they are outnumbered here. Albino Joe dies in his magical journey as he was just not respecting the situation there. Now Master Splinter being chased down by a much stronger tank. And this is going to turn into a Baron Siege with Dubdrum in the mid lane. And Dubdrum really zoning hard here. This is a lot of damage on this tower as no one from Boy Butter is around to defend it. Going to be the first inhibitor of the game going over to boost.
Yeah, I have to say, going back to the picks and bans, why'd you leave this Thresh up? Because he is taking that check to the bank right now.
Yeah, there's just been so much to like about the way the Boosted Friendship has played this. And now that they have an inhibitor down, I really don't know what... Oh, and King gets a max range hook again. King is down. Thor Odinson going to be able to just shred Boy Butter apart here if it takes its time. But a triple kill onto Thor Odinson. A kill onto Avalite. Cruise Master, you're 5-1-6, but you cannot stop the boosted boat from laying waste to your base. And this is going to be a game over for the SS Boosted Friendship, who, as we've been saying all season, have looked better than their record. And now a win against Boy Butter might not be the most meaningful win, but
it's a good comp.
This is what you want to do when you play a bad team. You want to beat them handily, and they just did so. And another week, and still not many answers for Boy Butter.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions there.
Alright, so just looking up and down this boosted comp, I'm not entirely sure who we want to talk to. There wasn't like any one specific standout player to me, so
I think we should talk to Respect and Thor.
Those were the two I was thinking, so perfect. I don't know if Tree is currently here to maybe drag Thor and Respect into our channel.
Can do.
Yeah, I'll meanwhile pull up this awesome damage done to champions graph that everyone loves so much.
User was moved to your channel.
And geez, look at that. Azir just shredded everybody. And alright, Respect and Thor now in the channel. Thanks for bearing with us, guys. I'm not sure how much you were aware of. We had an issue where Tree was unable to spectate your game. His spectate like crashed 2 minutes into it, and it was really weird. We ended up switching streamers to me partway through. I know it sucks to be in that long of a pause when it's not somebody on your team's fault. So appreciate you guys sticking with us, mainly because you didn't have a choice about it.
No problem, sir.
So,
Thank you.
Respect and Thor. You guys are now 2-3 coming out of the end of the first round robin. How do you guys feel about where your team is at?
Okay, so I feel like out of all the SBLs that I've watched, this will be the third SBL season that I've visually been a part of. I think we're the strongest 2-3 team you'll ever find. I think that this game showed a lot of improvement now that we had no lag and everybody on the team here for a game and a little bit of practice time behind us. So I see only up from here for our team.
Yeah, I mean, I can ditto that. Truthfully, the last 3 games, I've had like 300-400 ping the entire way through, so it's been pretty miserable. Can't say that I've enjoyed playing many of the games as of late, but I will be actually moving into my own apartment and with better internet, so it should be only up from the rest of the SBL season. But I think we played a really, really solid game today. Made some better decisions than I think we've made in the past when it comes to team fighting and junk like that. But it's been a whole lot of fun. So,
Respect question.
go ahead.
Should people ban your Thresh? Should they ever leave it open?
At 03 and 18, I'll let you be the judge of that. I was thoroughly surprised. I don't know why it got through.
That is usually the question.
It was weird because they had first pick, so I was like, oh, well, they have, the ban. They had the ban left in the first pick. I'm like, well, it either gets picked or banned at this point. and then they hovered the bard for like 15-20 seconds, and I was like, all right, and then they locked it in. I'm like, okay, well that's good enough for me. So and then I picked it, and we just had a lot of fun. Yeah, I know Evelite really enjoyed being on the Lucian, and Lucian Thresh Lane is one of our favorites to play. So especially in solo queue, so a lot of fun.
Thor, how's it feel doing crap tons of damage against anyone?
Oh, it's great. I was watching our game last week against your team, Scotch, and wanted to embrace my inner thrifty senpai, so I decided to take a control mage that doesn't do much in lane, and then comes out in the late game and just does shit tons of damage to everybody.
Oh, I think you did plenty in lane against Cruz.
Yeah, I thought he had me there early with the flash ults with him and Splinter, but they only did it once, and I was expecting a lot more repeat ganks from that. I didn't go as aggressive as I should have been.
I do want to shout out Albino Joe. As much crap as he's going to get for this game, I think he had some on-point ultimates, especially laning phase. He had some killer bard ults in the laning phase. I mean,
Actually,
he hit Evelite twice, just Evelite when we were skirmishing. So there was one fight in particular where I flash filleted kicking, and then he ulted Evelite, and it was perfect. I mean, it was when my exhaust was on Caitlyn. He hit Evelite, it wore off. I mean, it was some pretty good laning bard play. After that, I can't say too much after the laning phase is over, but I was pretty impressed with his.
I want to leave you guys with
game.
one question, and this only works if you guys don't currently have the stream open. But I want you to take a guess on who did more damage to champions that game, King or Albino Joe.
I'm gonna bet on Joe.
I'm betting on Joe.
Well, you guys are smart men. Take that money to Vegas. Because to whoever in Twitch chat asked, Albino Joe's Bard did 63 more damage that game to champions than King on Caitlyn, the safest AD carry in the game. So that is all I'm going to let you guys know about the way this season is going for Boy Butter. Anyways, we're going to cut the stream real fast. We're going to get Tree back involved and hopefully get this all fixed for Game 2. So we will be back online in just a moment. Once again, thanks for dealing with us.